Hi ladies, and welcome to Tea Tuesday. Yep, I got some tea in here. Good old sweet tea, yum yum. No, actually it's unsweetened tea. I just use black tea bags with a little bit of stevia in it. Oh, let me tell you, Ray doesn't know. He's doing something in the garage, and I heard this big bang with the pipes. Now we don't have water. I don't know what happened. Yes, I'm videoing. Oh, we have no power. I'll be back. Sorry. Real life, it happens. We have no power. Welcome to the life in Maine. We're all set. We've got a cook stove, kitchen cook stove. We got a fireplace. We got a generator. We have a furnace, a great big furnace downstairs. So we'll be warm. I got propane lights. I got oil lamps and a lot of candles. So I don't know why we don't have a power, but back to Tea Tuesday. I heard that big boom through the pipes. That's why. It's because we don't have power. No water. So I went to go put water in. I've got bottled water, but I'm not going to go downstairs. So I said, I'll just grab sweet tea. So that's what I got. We can have any beverage you want. Now, Tea Tuesday, I like to say thank you to Life with Patty and Kathy's Favorite Things. This is an open collab, and you use lowercase letters, Tea Tuesday Ladies. Don't forget to put that hashtag in, because that hashtag is very important. Hashtag Tea Tuesday Ladies. It'll be in the description below. You can have hot tea, cold tea, a beverage of your choice. It started out just doing teas, but everybody kind of broadened and started doing this, that, and the other. It can be formal tea and it can be informal tea. It's all up to you how you want to do Tea Tuesday. While you're drinking your beverage of choice, oh, so good. While you're drinking your beverage of choice, you can do a craft, you can read a story, you can color, you can do whatever you want. But what I've been doing, I've been reading Don't Be Silly, Mr. Twiddle. This book was in 1949. And this guy, Mr. Twiddle, he gets himself in more pickles than you can count. I believe it was copied, yes. Darrell Walters Limited, 1949. It's a revised revision. And Mrs. Twiddle, she'll tell Mr. Twiddle something, and he don't listen. Right now, he's kind of in trouble. So let's get back to the story and see what Mr. Trouble Twiddle's going to get into. Here we go. Twiddle, in a small voice, Fish said, Mrs. Twiddle not at all believe in him. Don't be silly. Fish couldn't get into the wardrobe. It is fish, because Mrs. Twiddle, the last time I read, could smell some bad fish. Guess what? Mr. Twiddle had put the fish in his hat, if I can remember correctly. Oh, I'd be so upset. Then he put his hat away, and it had stinky fish in it. Now, don't you think Mr. Twiddle should get in trouble? I do. I'll take it downstairs and put it in the dustpan. Most extraordinary thing. Never heard of such a thing in my life. Can't think what the cat's been up to take fish into the wardrobe. Mr. Twiddle did it. Nor can I, said Mrs. Twiddle, angry and puzzled. Twiddle, it's cold tonight. Just put your best hat on and your coat. I sent your old hat to be cleaned this afternoon. Twiddle looked for his best hat. It wasn't there. It's not there, he said. It must be, said Mrs. Twiddle impatiently. You put it there yourself this morning. Find it at once, or I'll come and look for it. Twiddle turned pale. He suddenly knew what had happened. He must have put his best hat in the dustbin and put the bad fish into the wardrobe. Oh, Mr. Twiddle. Mrs. Twiddle could wait no longer. She jumped out of bed and went to find Mr. Twiddle's hat. She saw the dish of fish. She stared at Twiddle and stared back. Red in the face now. He stared back. Instead of white, poor Twiddle. Twiddle, the cat must be clever enough to carry fish to the wardrobe, but not on a dish. You must have put it there. Dreaming as usual. But, oh, Twiddle, don't tell me you put that lovely best hat of yours in the dustbin. Twiddle didn't tell her. She knew. He went downstairs with a bad fish and made his way out into the yard. The cat followed him, sniffing eagerly at the fish. Twiddle put the fish in the dustbin and then took and looked for his hat. It must be there, covered with rubbish, tea leaves, and now fish. Twiddle put the lid on the dustbin again. He didn't know that the cat had jumped in after the fish and it was shut in. He went sadly back to the bedroom, holding his hat in his hand. How it smelt. Oh, I bet it smelt terrible. Mrs. Twiddle said a lot to him, and he had to listen. It was a long time before he went to sleep. When he woke up, he remembered what had happened. I must be very, very careful today, he thought. I'll do nothing to make Mrs. Twiddle angry at all. So he was good as he could be, and Mrs. Twiddle was pleased until she discovered the cat shut in the dustbin. So this is why you couldn't have been so good and quiet, she scolded. You shut the poor cat in the dustbin. You bad man. Twiddle, I have a good mind to shut you up in the dustpan too. Mrs. Twiddle gets really put out with him. She looked so fierce that Mrs. Twiddle snatched a hat from the hall stand and fled. It wasn't until he was a mile away that he found he could take Mrs. Twiddle's old hat by mistake. No wonder everybody laughed when he went by. He really looks like a funny fella. Now, why would he take Mrs. Fiddle's hat? Doesn't he pay attention? Isn't once Mrs. Twiddle turned out land in the cupboard and found 2 pair of Mr. Twiddle's old boots. Oh, gosh, I hope she don't find the yellow ones. She took them downstairs to the kitchen and looked at them. Well, they could really be mended, she said to herself. They want new soles, but that's all. The heels were quite good, and so was the upper parts. In these hard days, we mustn't throw old boots away. That is true. Back in the day, you saved everything. I mean, people didn't have the money. So good. They didn't have the money to go out and buy. Today, people will just go out and spend. I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. I'll tell Twiddle to take them to be sold. See, I remember when I lived back when growing up in my town, the next town over where the Capitol was, there was a cobbler shop, and we could go and get our soles put on our shoes. We could have special shoes made. We could have them sewn. But nowadays, not that I know of where I'm from, they don't do that. Several years back, maybe 10 or 15 years, they went out of business. But those were the good old days. So when Mr. Twiddle came in from his walk, he saw 2 pair of old boots on the table. He looked at them in surprise. Fancy those old things turning up again, he said. I haven't seen them for years. They must be sold, said Mrs. Twiddle. The soles are very bad. Look at 'em. Yes, so they are, said Twiddle, looking at the big holes in the soles. All right, wife, they shall be sold. Sold? Now, Twiddle was making a very great mistake, he thought, that Mrs. Twiddle meant him to sell the boots when she said they must be sold. See, he gets things so confused. Sell and sold? That poor man needs a hearing aid. He thought she meant sold. She really meant the soles must be mended, of course, but he didn't know that. He wrapped the boots up in a brown paper and set off down the road to the shop that bought old clothes. I ought to get a nice lot of money for these boots, thought Twiddle. Please, what shall I buy with the money? I want a new pipe. Really, said Mrs. Twiddle. Could do the same bold sweets. She does like them so much. And the cat could have a kipper. I don't know what a kipper is. I'll have to look that up. Kipper. Does anybody know what a kipper is? It has behaved quite well lately. Mr. Twiddle sold the boots, and with the money he got, he bought himself a fine new pipe. Good for him. He went to the sweatshop and bought a new bag of sweets for Mrs. Twiddle and bought a keeper for the cat. Kipper, K-I-P-P-E-R, kipper. So Twiddle had no money left. Poor Mr. Twiddle, he never has money in his pocket. By the time he got home, he put down the sweets on the table. Mrs. Twiddle was delighted to see them. Oh, how sweet of him to think of his wife. Oh, thank you, she said. That is kind of you. I thought you hadn't any money left this week. Well, I've just taken the boots to be sold, said Twiddle. The man gave me the money. But Twiddle, why did the man give you money? Asked Mrs. Twiddle, thinking that the cobbler must have gone mad. After all, she always had no pay money to have her shoes mended. It seemed, we're going to stop right there. She always had to pay money to have her shoes mended. And I'm going to stop it right there. I hope you enjoyed this as I'm reading. See, I read a little bit more today. I left it so I didn't have any projects. And don't be silly, Mr. Twiddle. Well, I think this book's pretty funny. I enjoy it a whole lot. There's a whole series back here of them. This must have been quite the book in its day. Have a great day. Don't forget, this is an open collaboration. If you'd like to join in on Tea Tuesday Ladies, # lowercase letters. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.